Hey, your boy fell asleep again. It didn't matter much because it looked like the Suns absolutely smoked the Bucks, or didn't smoke them, but like it looks like they had control of the game, even though the Bucks were up most of the first half. It looks like they had control of the whole game. So I mean, the Suns had control even if they were down. So just like I didn't, my balloting is just like, it didn't matter. You can fall asleep through the whole third quarter, and it won't matter because they're still going to be up by like
Again.
10 by the fourth quarter. So I mean,
Mhm.
what was your first thoughts? Because like for me, Suns had control, and I had a few like detailed reactions. But what was your like instant reaction after that game?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it. The Suns definitely had control throughout the entire game. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, just absolutely cooking the Bucks defense in every which way. Booker had 6 assists tonight, so he was showing some good playmaking skills. Um, but yeah, just the Bucks, they seem like they're scrambling out there. Like the Phoenix offense is super consistent. And the Bucks is just not consistent at all. Middleton not shooting well tonight. Drew Holiday did okay. Giannis with a good game, but
Mm-hmm.
they need more from everybody.
Yeah, Giannis can't carry this team. I'm just
Yeah, no, he
saying.
really can't, especially against the Suns team because they're playing great defense, and it just seems like the Bucks can't keep pace with the Suns. Like the Suns are scoring consistently on every possession, or like every other possession. They're getting offensive rebounds on the shots that they do miss. And then they're able to get a bucket after that. But the Bucks, too many like one and done possessions tonight. Like just missing free throws from Giannis. He got to the line a bunch of times, but he wasn't able to convert at a high rate. So, yeah, Suns definitely have a commanding lead in this series now. So we'll see what happens when they go back to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I just tweeted out like I love falling asleep during NBA Finals games, but but another thing I tweeted, which is like the one thing I want to go in details about. They still ran the stupid lineup that we talked about yesterday,
Yeah,
like the was it the PJ Tucker, Brooke Lopez, Giannis lineup.
yeah.
I'm
With
like,
I think
no,
Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton.
no, they also had that lineup too, but they had a lineup. Their starting lineup was Drew Holiday, Middleton. I remember this visibly.
Oh, right,
Drew
right,
Holiday, Middleton, PJ Tucker, Giannis, and Brooke Lopez. I'm like,
right.
why?
Yeah,
And then
just
every
keep it
time I
up.
saw them on a pick and roll, like this is also another thing I noticed. Every time they went on a pick and roll, they always doubled the guy who had the ball and left the roller
Mhm.
open, and they just
Yeah,
pass to the roll, and
facts.
the Suns get a free 2 points. I'm like, are you
Yeah,
serious?
no, dude, the Suns ran the pick and roll so well tonight. And it seemed like every time Paul would bring up the ball, right?
Mhm.
He would bring it up, and then they would have a high screen and roll.
Yeah.
And then they would switch Drew Holiday off of usually the primary ball handler, whether it was Booker or Chris Paul. They would try to switch
Yeah.
Drew Holiday off of him, which is smart because Drew Holiday is a good defender. But yeah, the rest of the Bucks seem like they just cannot keep up with the Suns offense. And even tonight, like it seemed like Drew Holiday was getting beat by Chris Paul all the time.
It
Like
was
he just
funny.
wasn't
It
able
was
to contain him.
Yeah, it's like no. The funny thing is, you mentioned that, but also like what I noticed personally with the pick and roll is that they always doubled the roll, this pick the guy, not the pick, what the hell, they got the ball handler,
Yeah, the
and
ball
let
handler. They always
and they
do.
let the guy the roller, and basically means when the roller gets open, they had to leave one of these guys on the perimeter open, and you see a lot of like Torrey Craig threes, Mikal Bridge
Yeah,
threes,
they on a
because it's
great pick
because
and
of that.
pop all the time.
Yeah, you're leaving the roller open. You have to let someone has to drop on that, and not to
Yeah.
mention when they didn't do that, they were playing a lot again. They were playing some stupid drop coverage. Basically means everyone was like collapsing into the paint. I'm like, why? Or like
Yeah,
I guess it was just a
I don't know
small,
why they do that because this like they're basically daring the Suns to shoot from three.
which is
And
dumb.
that's so dumb
That
because we
statement sounds
obviously
so
know that
stupid.
they have so many players that are able to hit the three. Like Jay Crowder was hitting his threes tonight.
Yo, I was just to say he's
No,
not useless. Useless
yeah.
Jay. He's not useless Jay anymore.
He
He's
was
actually,
running around doing nothing for the whole game last game. But
dude,
yeah, tonight
three
he was
for
hitting
five, 4 for 5, 4 for 80. He hit his threes when he needed to. But
Yeah, exactly.
speaking of
And you
three
can't dare
pointers,
these Suns to shoot. Like you just can't give that to them on the three like that.
yeah, like
Or
speaking of
from the
the
mid range, also they're good
yeah.
from everywhere on the court.
Yeah, it's funny that we were talking about. Now we can talk about threes because I wanted to talk about it. Suns shot 50% from three, 20 for 40, and they were shooting. They shot. I think I remember the stat on like the scoreboard or whatever, but it was basically towards the end of the first half. The Bucks only shot like four threes, and the
Mm.
Suns shot like 14. and they were shooting above 50% already. So
Mhm.
that's that's you can't answer twos with or threes with two or twos with threes or threes with two, whatever. Point
Yeah,
being,
yeah,
you
I
can't
know. But
they can't be outscoring them. The Bucks can't be outscored by threes or whatever. I can't put this into words because it sounds so stupid.
no, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah,
Not to mention,
you can't outpace a team that's going to consistently hit their threes,
yeah,
especially when your offense in the Bucks is running so inconsistently in and of itself.
not to mention their 3-point shooting is absolute terrible. They went 9 for 31. I mean, like they picked it up, like their 3-point shooting is what I noticed in the second half in the last 5 minutes. But like at that point, you're
Too little, too late.
the Suns are steamrolling. You can't stop
Exactly. It's too little, too
their
late at
speed.
that point.
Not to
And
mention,
yeah, you
oh,
go.
I was gonna like talk about like the 3-point shooting is that if you the Bucks seem like their game plan tonight was really just to play hard defense and then just make consistent layups, which is like sure that works if your defense can work for all 4 quarters, but by the fourth quarter, third quarter, you're gonna be exhausted. And
Exactly.
they look exhausted in the second half. They what is it? The Suns scored 30. Let me look at the thing. The Bucks scored like 16 to the Suns 30. Yeah, like they were outscored by the second quarter. Like that doesn't work if you want to play hard defense for all four
Yeah, you
quarters.
can't allow 30 points in a quarter if your main game plan is supposed to be defense.
Yeah, which is what I think Budenholzer was trying to do tonight, and I think it was like, no, it's not.
It's not going to work. And I mean, if he tries to switch to a more offensive oriented game plan, he's going to have trouble there because Middleton was so inconsistent tonight. He was not hitting his shots at all. So
Yeah,
he's going to have a really tough time. But we did see it in the Brooklyn Bucks series. We did
Mhm.
see Brooklyn take a good 2-0 lead at home, but then the Bucks came out in their home court. So we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. But based on these last two games, it just seems like the Suns are absolutely cooking these dudes.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's anything because I don't have the basketball reference. I'm using the ESPN stat thing. I was like, is there anything that like looked serious, like seriously off? I mean, it's kind of weird that the Bucks. It's funny enough. The Phoenix Suns only had 28 points from the paint. Think about that. 28 points from the paint, and they scored 118. That means
Yeah.
the mess of it either came from long mid range or from three. I mean,
Mhm.
that just proves our point right there. Okay, I was trying to look at
Yeah,
something for like that. Like point
they're a
proves our
good
point.
shooting team. Yeah, they shoot the basketball at a high clip, and if you can't match that, then you got to play good defense.
You're
But
screwed.
they weren't playing good defense, and yeah, at that point you're kind of screwed.
Well, I'm not going to trash on the Bucks entirely. They did run the lineup a little bit more that I told them to yesterday. Was the Giannis at
Yeah,
5, Connaughton.
they watched our episode and they
Yes,
listened.
they run PJ Tucker at the 4, Giannis at the 5, and then they ran Middleton. Was it
Yeah,
Connaughton
every time
and
they run that
Strahalda?
lineup, they do better.
Well, they
Or
ran it
at
the
least
last five
it seems
minutes.
like they do better.
Yeah, it seems like they do better, but yeah, they ran that in the last 5 minutes. But at that point, you're stream rolling. I think you need to run that lineup earlier and get that chemistry going with that lineup specifically, and
I think
get the
should
shooters
be
better.
Yeah, that's got to be their main lineup, I think. Because it just works better having Giannis at the 5.
And look, you can see if you watch him, like he's still able to bully, like he's still able to like push off Aiton and still like play good defense. Like if you
Yeah, I
watched
mean,
it,
dude, he's huge.
exactly the point.
Stick him in the paint. Don't be take. I mean, actually, he shot the mid range pretty well tonight.
Yeah,
But like don't be take. I don't think he took that many threes. I know he took a couple. But yeah, I think his main game should be get into the paint and then through that hopefully draw some attention on the offense, maybe draw a double, or on the defense, maybe draw a double or something, kick it out to your shooter. But then of course we have the problem of Milwaukee not being able to hit their shots.
This sounds like a really dull, like what we're saying. We're saying this stuff. It sounds like really simple, but I feel like there's like something. I feel like there's something more to this that like maybe Budenholzer doesn't trust his shooters as much, so like maybe he's not running this line. I don't know. It just seems really weird. Last thing I want to say, I love these Suns fans is counting up Giannis's free throws.
Dude,
I'm just saying, I laughed so hard on his first set of free throws. Like, all right, he made the first one. They did it again, completely airballed it. I was like, oh my god, it's over.
When he airballed it, they were.
I think that's when the Suns lost. The Bucks lost when he airballed that free throw. I think that's when it went all downhill from there.
Yeah, that was what the Suns were like. All right, we got him now. They knew. Yeah, dude. No, I mean these fans are brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Absolute.
It's great.
Oh my god. Dude, I laughed. I was like, yeah, that's when it all went downhill. It's all
Mhm.
going downhill from here. But
Yes,
yeah, I
sir.
mean that's all I wanted to say for tonight. I mean, hopefully next Sunday they'll be able to pull it together going home, back home to Milwaukee. And
Mhm.
game four, I think we're gonna have recording the podcast during the time, but I think game four will hopefully be better. If not, Suns and full. Suns and foe. Suns and
Yeah,
full.
Suns. Honestly, it's looking like it
It's
so far.
it's
We're on,
sad.
we're on a good track.
Dude, everyone's you know what? I'm gonna save this comment for the next podcast. So check out the next podcast if you want to see what I was gonna say. It's something about this whole final series. So it's my little take that, and also everyone else's take about this finals. But
Mhm.
you know, you'll have to watch the next week's podcast or just follow NBA Twitter to understand what I'm gonna say next week. But yeah, that's it for me. Unless Reed, you got any final words before we send it off?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, we'll see y'all Sunday. Peace.